Welcome to Improve Your English Writing, video number 10. So the video series just covered the three-step writing process, and now we're going to move on to the three-step editing process. And this video is the first in that series of the three-step editing process, where I'm going to do a quick overview of that, and then I'm going to discuss the 3-pass and 5-pass editing systems. If you'd like to get notifications for this series, please click subscribe. If you like the video or think others will find it useful, please hit like and check out links to books and videos in the description. So after writing, we need to do editing. And unfortunately, we can't make all the needed changes or all the necessary edits to a document in a single pass. It is technically possible, but it's probably not advisable to do that. You want to go through the document in several passes making edits. And you should do your edits in the following order. One, you want to make edits to the document content and organization. This is basically developmental editing, where you're focusing on the overall content and organization. And with developmental editing, this is where you rearrange sections of text, paragraphs, and then also things like charts and tables. Then you want to edit for intense sentence level edits. I guess I said that wrong. Then you want to do intense sentence level edits. This is basically substantive editing. We are rewriting or editing the sentence for clarity and conciseness. Thereafter, you want to do a sentence level polish. This is mechanical editing, and this is where we edit the sentence for correct grammar, punctuation, spelling, capitalization, number formatting, word usage, and so on. If you don't edit the document in this order, and just to repeat what was on the last slide, if you don't order or do the edits in this order of content and organization, of clarity and conciseness, and then correct grammar and punctuation and so on, then you will find yourself doing needless rewriting and polishing. So you could end up making changes or edits which are basically wasteful or not needed, because why should you spend time crafting an awesome sentence only to remove it? Then this might be, you say, well, this could be an extreme example. I'm probably not going to do that, but trust me, one of these days you'll write something and then remove it. Or you'll write something great and you won't want to remove it. But this is the more common example of what will happen is, why spend time properly punctuating a sentence that needs rewriting because it's unclear or long-winded? Hopefully this makes sense. You can get that perfect sentence with the correct punctuation, only to see that you have to come back and rewrite it because it's unclear, and that may affect capitalization or comma usage, or you may have to move phrases around, things like that. Why properly punctuate it when you need to rewrite it for clarity and conciseness? So the question is, how many passes? Because I said in multiple passes. Well, too few editing passes. What happens is that your focus is too broad, and you're going to leave errors, which are basically poorly written sentences, and errors like punctuation errors, grammar errors, things like that. You're going to leave them. But the flip side of that is too few people have time to make numerous editing passes. So, somewhere between 1 pass and we'll just say 20 passes is the right number. What is the right number? Because I doubt anyone's going to make 20 editing passes through a document. Well, I found the 2 best editing plans are what are called the 3-pass and 5-pass editing systems. Fewer than 3 passes basically is too few. And once again, you're just going to leave errors, and you're going to leave too many errors in the document. And that's going to be punctuation errors or things that are just poorly written. But more than 5 passes leads to what I call diminishing returns. Basically, you're getting too few edits for the required effort. So hopefully this makes sense. After 5 passes, let's say, on pass 6 and 7, let's say you're editing a 100-page document. It's going to take you a while to read a 100-page document. You know, let's say you read a page document on the 7th pass, and you only got found 3 things to change. Well, was that really worth your effort? That's what I call diminishing returns. Every time you go through the document, you should find less and less errors, and at some point, you're not finding enough errors for the required effort. So that usually comes about past 5. So what is the 3-pass editing system? Well, I recommend this for documents 50 pages or less. Now, if you're doing a really short, like email, you don't need to do 3 passes. You could probably do that in 1 or 2 passes. But this is my recommendation. Do this for 50 pages or less. And pass 1 is effectively you're going to focus on the content, which is developmental editing. This is where you see if any content is missing, if you need to delete content, if you need to move paragraphs around, if you need to move sections of text around, if you need to move a table to a different page, things like that. So this pass usually can occur very quickly if you're not adding any content, which usually takes the longest. If you're just deleting content or moving stuff around, it actually usually goes quite quickly. Where this pass can take time is where you're missing content and need to add it. The next pass is you focus on rewriting unclear and wordy sentences. This is basically just substantive editing. So now you're going to go through each sentence and you're going to rewrite it or focus and ask yourself, is this sentence clear or, and is it concise? Now what's going to happen is that when you actually go through this pass, you should be 80% of the time you should be focusing on rewriting clear and wordy sentences. It is true you may come back and you may rearrange the order in the paragraph a little bit, which is technically pass 1. And what will happen is that you'll find out pass 3 is where we're doing punctuation, and you may fix some punctuation. But 80% of the time, your focus, if your focus is substantive editing or clear and wordy sentences, that's what you should be doing. If you're not spending most of your time there, like 80%, you're actually doing something else. So if you find yourself on pass 2 fixing a bunch of punctuation, you're not focusing on substantive editing. That's what you need to focus on. I'm not going to say ignore punctuation, but you need to be really focusing on, is this sentence clear or concise? So pass 3 is the focus is correct sentences, and this is basically mechanical editing. This is where we're going to focus on the correct grammar, the word usage, capitalization, number formatting, punctuation, things like that. I might have said punctuation twice. Now, it is true, when you're here, well, I just said 80%. So when you're doing pass 3, 80% of your work should be the correct sentences. You will find yourself coming back and probably rewriting a few awkward sentences that need to be redone. You're probably not going to grab or make every sentence perfect, or what's going to happen is you're going to read through this and you're going to find, as you're reading, you're going to find, oh, I can rewrite the sentence this way and it'll be clearer or more concise. So, but your focus should be on the mechanical editing. So the 5-pass system is just, which I recommend for documents more than 50 pages. That's just mine, but I would say pick a system. When you have a document, pick a system. You should say I'm going to do 3 passes or 5 passes. And the 5-pass system is really just a 3-pass system with pass 2 and 3 repeated twice. So usually you don't need to repeat step 1 twice. Usually you can get step 1 done in a single pass. Or what I call, usually you can get the developmental editing, the content and the organization. Usually you can get that down and not have too much, or you don't need to go through the document twice to do that. But on pass, if you're doing 2 passes of this, what you'll find is, on pass 2 should be like, 80 to 90% should be focusing on unclear and wordy sentences. But your third pass, maybe only 75% is really focused on um, rewriting some unclear and wordy sentences, and you're starting to get down into the mechanical editing. So you can never do a pass is never going to be purely just that. People tend to make changes to one of these three groups, but those two passes should be focused on substantive editing. Believe it or not, you can rewrite a sentence, and as you go through a long document again, you come back around to it, you'll find maybe a different way to rewrite that, or how can this be more clear or concise. And then pass 4 and 5 is mechanical editing. Once again, this is where all your effort should be focused on. So you make 2 mechanical editing passes. After that, after you've done 5 passes through a document, it should be good to go. Not to say it's going to be perfect, but it should be good to go. So that's it for this video. If you'd like to get notifications for the series, please click subscribe. If you like the video, please hit like, and check out links to books and videos in the description. Thank you.